Hey friends, let's take a closer look at the I Am the Artist Tarot. This is a deck that I have had for quite some time, and unlike other decks, I opened this one and looked through the cards and immediately fell in love. And so, what I wanted to do was spend some time with it and take a closer look. So I'm gonna set this aside for just a minute and we'll take a quick look at the booklet that came with it. It's called Playing with Symbols. This deck is by Sakki-Sakki and it's just amazing. I've been spending some time over the last few days reading the book. I got this really cool bookmark that came when I ordered the deck, and it's just a really cool book. She spends quite a bit of time. Oh, look, I didn't even realize that it had a signature. It's so cool. So yeah, this was a happy surprise. I just discovered this a few days ago. But anyways, she spends quite a bit of time, if you see here, talking about her creative process, the systems, everything that she incorporated into the cards, and then she gets into the actual cards and artwork. So it was very, very interesting. This is a retelling of the story of the original Sakki-Sakki. So it's been through a change. She refers to it as an evolution. And I love it. I remember the first time I saw this deck, it was on Katie Flowers' channel. And I remember looking at it and thinking, no, I don't think so, because literally this is what the cards were like. Like all the figures had no heads. And I just thought it was super strange, super strange. And so when the deck was revisited, she went back and she added heads. So I thought it was super neat. So her style of art is really unique. So she had, you can see here, a bunch of different pieces of individual art, and she had all these collected. And so she went into her inventory of art, and that is how she originally created this deck. Same with backgrounds. You can see here that there's a variety of different backgrounds, and we can see these in the deck when we're going through. But the thing that I wanted to show was how she took the time to go through all of the art and kind of pick out which symbols she was going to include and what card it eventually turned into. Now, she doesn't do this for every single card, but I think it's fascinating how she's done that, and it gives you a view into her creative process, which I think is pretty amazing. One other thing that I'll touch on. So this deck is an RWS based deck. And she takes time to add information in here in terms of numerology. And so she has information here for each of the numbers. And then these are based on the tree of life. And these are the ones that I'm like most familiar with when I think of numerology. So I think this is really cool. Now, over on this side, she talks about the elements as she sees them or as she put them into the deck. So she talks about the four directions, the four seasons, the four psychological types. A lot of consideration went into this deck. And I love how she just pulled it all together. She does have astrology associations on all of the cards. So you can see the planets and the zodiac signs. And then uh, here's her, list of the planets and their symbols. And then she does the same thing for the zodiac signs. And then she even has a section here for the Kabbalah. So a lot of really great information in the book. And this is what I wanted to mention. So in this deck, she has done some experimentation with what she calls the Color Quest code. And this is a color system that she is using in the deck where she ties in a bunch of different things. So she goes through how she came up with this color scheme. Basically, she had her black, which is a sacred color, right? Quality fixed. And then her white, also sacred color, quality mutable. And then red, sacred color, quality cardinal. And then what she done was she mixed, right, the red with the white and etc. And here's how she got darkest red, pink, and gray, and she gives those associations. And so I'm gonna set this aside and kind of share um, the little handout that comes with the deck. So she includes this chakra colors. So anywhere in the deck that you see the colors, then you know she has an I statement for each of the chakras as well as the colors. So crown, I connect; third eye, I see; throat, I express; heart, I love; solar plexus, I do; sacral, I feel; root, I am. And so this is just so you can kind of be on the lookout for the colors. On the other side is where she has her color quest. And so these would be the colors that you could also draw into the meanings of the cards. So, for example, here, gray would be accept. And then if you go into the book, it gives you a little bit more. Accept, be, notice, awareness, ordinary world, behind the scenes, the messy everyday, what is. This is the beautiful box. This is a great box, super sturdy. I think the only thing about this box is I wish that it had the thumb cutouts because it is very difficult to open once it's closed. But it's a gorgeous box, and you can see the art on the inside. I just love it. But yeah, just a little bit challenging without the thumb cutouts. But gorgeous box. I'll put this aside. It doesn't really affect me because, of course, when I fall in love with the deck, the very first thing I do is get a bag for it. And this was the bag that I found for the deck. I mean, you could see this is perfection. It's so awesome. It matches so well. Um, so I just had to get it. And this is where I keep the deck. Now this here is a title card that came with the deck. Super cute. And then on the back, it gives you a little, reference of the symbols for the planets and the symbols for the zodiac. In case you're like me and you're learning, sometimes I see some of the symbols and I recognize them right away. And then other times I'm like, oh, what is that? I have to look it up. So it's cool to have this handout. I will keep this handy and then we can get into the deck. Here we have the Fool card. Now I remember that this deck is RWS based, so it should be fairly easy to follow along. Now, the artists have made the decision to keep the writing on the card to a minimum, but all of the majors are titled, and then we can see here the number And then down here in the corner, we have our associations. So that's really cool. So this is a very um, traditional, but not traditional card. It's super cool. The animal companion is a bird. We have our fool with their suitcase, and they're about to step off the edge here. I love this card. Then we have the magician. You know, these cards are very busy, but for some reason, my eye just goes immediately to what I need to look at. Again, this is a very quirky deck. The magician is blue, which I love because a lot of times blue is used for beings that are considered to be highly spiritual. So I love that. We see all of the um, elements are represented here. We see the lemniscate. I think it's hilarious that his legs are off to the side. Overall, a great card. Here's our high priestess, and no part of her is hidden. We see the pomegranates in all four corners. No pillars, but you can see this one section here of black and white and this one section here of color. So in my mind's eye, you know, those are the two separate pillars. In either case, you can't see anything behind her. I like the blue at the bottom, which you can take to be water. Here. Now, here's the Empress. I love this card. It's so pretty. I love the use of orange, the orange with the pink. We see the wheat. I can see the wheat in the background. What appears to be flowers, maybe some crystals. I guess the beautiful thing is that you can kind of read it how you see it. She's got her crown. It's really pretty. We have our emperor here, pursed lips, sword, powerful, upright. I do see the two columns here. And look, we have the eagle in the corner and then the feet at the top. Now, the Hierophant was renamed to the Mentor, and I like that. I like that a lot. And I love this particular mentor. This black and white check kind of makes me feel like it's very structured, almost like one thing leads to another thing. Everything has a rhyme or a reason or a purpose. All right. The Lovers, very beautiful. I love how their faces, right, are different colors and they flip the colors of the face. Ooh, this looks like the snake. That's cool. Here we have the chariot. Okay, I'm living for the chariot with his 3D glasses. You can see the two wheels and two dragons. I love this. And it's really easy to see the associations. So cool. Strength in this deck, number 8. And again, I love this. It almost seems like the lion is part of her dress. I love that super cool necklace that she's wearing. Oh, there's that little symbol again. I wonder if it's on all the cards and I just haven't been able to see it. Okay, the Hermit. Love this card. Again, a different. This Hermit is completely covered. All you can see are their funky shoes. The Lantern. I'm going to guess that this is the outline of the moon. Beautiful. All right. And then the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, this is very chaotic, right? It's a wheel. It almost looks like a Ferris wheel, right? You can see different baskets, but then there's a train riding on the outside. We have a rocket in one corner, fireworks. I don't know what looks like a submarine, land. It's almost like anything is possible. I love to see all the astrological associations on the card. Love that. All right. Justice. Again, super funky shoes. The scales. We have the sword, the gavel, even the wig. All right. So this card was renamed in this deck to the Hanged One. And I love how there's a home here. It's almost like he's suspended from the home, but then there's a chimney here. So it's like he's in some sort of cocoon. I like that. Right? I like that. Here we have the death card and very stark imagery on this one. But we see the skeleton on the craziest horse I've ever seen, the flag. Oh, goodness. Such a great card. All right, Temperance. I really like the color palette in this one. We can see the two different chalices, uh, almost like crazy water on this side, and then a smoother flow on the other side. We see our figure, the wings. It's really gorgeous. Here we have the Devil card, and this figure just looks like he's having a grand old time. You could see one on the side here. I would guess this is the pair, and this some kind of party going on at the bottom. This to me really speaks of just letting loose, letting your hair down. I just realized there's two pairs of shoes over here. Oh my goodness. The Tower. We have the silhouette of the figure, the top of the tower being blown off. There's clearly water at the bottom, fire at the base. Ooh, the star. I feel like we've seen this background before, and the spirals, because for me, like spirals indicate change. And then we have the star. Ta-da! In a very theatrical sense. How funny. Water being poured into the water and being poured onto the earth. Yep. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the stars. All the stars are represented. We have the moon. Okay, so we have our two figures down here. Oh my goodness. Such a great card. This to me looks like two pairs of shoes. Here's the path. There's the water. Oh, we can. Oh, there's the crustacean. Here's the crustacean, and then here's the path leading into the unknown. I feel like that black and white is like that unknown. That's cool. Gorgeous sun card. I love all these towers here. So cool. And this card, Judgment, was renamed to the Angel. That's very different. So, a little bit of a different interpretation with this card. Here we have the World. Our figure is almost carrying the world. I don't know, this is very unique because then you have like all this black and white artwork here, then these swirlies. Is that wind? Winds of change. I think it's interesting that they've represented 3 boats on the planet. Very interesting. Now, this deck has some additional cards. So we'll look at those. This one is the Artist, and it looks like, this would be like a blank stage, right? So you can read this many ways. Um, the curtain has gone up, the stage is blank. It's a production, what you see. So it really would depend what cards were drawn with this. Although in the book, she does speak to the meaning behind each of the cards. And it looks like this one, she's associated to Chiron. Then we have the Visionary. You can see the third eye there. The Observer. And the Inner Muse. And then you have the unnamed card. Okay, so we have the Ace, pretty traditional. The Two of Wands. I like that there's 2 people here, like one full and then one off to the side here. The 3. The 4. Celebration. This one looks so good. The 5, which is usually some sort of conflict. I don't know. These figures almost appear to be dancing, but you could see they're getting in each other's way. And just like there's 5 wands, there's 5 spirals, which again, like I see that as change, evolution, and growth. I like how that's tied into this card. Okay, we have the 6. It's almost like these figures here are now celebrating the main figure here. Okay, 7. That belt buckle reminds me of like the 70s. I have the 8 of Wands, very traditional. But I like the addition of and it's not smoke, it's just a cloud, right? Fast change. This is cloudy, indicating that sometimes we don't see it coming or we can't see what's on the other side of the change. And then the 9 of Wands. This figure is, I don't know, standing on this. Is that a flower? I'm not sure. We have the 10. I love the head wrap. on 10. So cool. Carrying that load, but looking amazing and pulling through, I might say. I really like, and look at all this at the bottom, this entanglement. It's like it could be read in multiple ways, right? Like, yes, you're nearing completion and it may have been tough. It may not have been. She looks good and she's making it. But then down here, you see all this and you think, oh my gosh, if her foot got stuck in that, she could trip and fall, is what I'm thinking. So I like the way that this could be read in different ways. And then we have the page. Oh, I forgot to mention. So in this deck, they're called, the wands are rods. We don't know that. Oh, yeah, because she decided in the minors, only the ace and the court cards would have titles. The rest do not have titles. Okay, so we have our page. And then the knight looking all rambunctious. The horse looks like it's bucking in the front instead of the back. Oh, the beautiful queen. I love her. I don't see the kitty. Meow meow. Where is it? I don't see the kitty. I love that the queen appears to be a head and her body appears to be the chair. And we have our king. King of rods. Okay. Next, we have the cups. Beautiful, beautiful chalice. Two of cups. I like this. Both of them. Hair flowing in the wind. I love all the different jewelry and accessory on all of the different figures. Oh, okay. The Three of Cups. Oh, I love that hairdo. So cool. And again, it could be read in different ways because these two, their posture looks so different than this one. Like, I almost wonder if this is the third wheel. So I love that. I love that they can be read in different ways. Again, depending on what other cards are around it and the nature of the question. We have the four. Um, you know what you could expect. This figure here, three full cups, and then the other cup over here. Ooh, like this Five of Cups almost have like Princess Leia vibes. And it's a little bit different. I love that she is not facing the water because sometimes all you see is the back, their back. So by seeing her front, you can see the sadness in her eyes. She's focusing on these three cups when she has these right here. I love this Six of Cups. It's sweet, right? It's like the big pot, the little pot, the six cups, and then all the little sweet treats. You can see a cake in the background, the two spoons. It's just sweet. Seven. I love what she's chosen to put in here. So, all right. I'm not even going to guess to know what that is. This appears to be a crown, some kind of trike, a gift, a cockroach, a flower, a crying figure, or at least that's how I'm seeing that, as a crying figure. This speaks to the chaos and the confusion of this card. Ooh, and the eight. That's pretty cool. Not even looking back. I got my fancy shoes, my fancy hat, and I'm moving on. And the Nine of Cups. Love that. Ooh, this is pretty. The 10. 10. So we see two figures wearing the rainbow. I love what's happening here with the cups and the overflow. Now we have the page, and I like that they kept the whimsy of the cup and the fish. I love this hairdo and the thick bushy eyebrows. So cute. All right, the Knight of Cups. Oh, I love that. Horse is hilarious. The Chalice of Flowers. Ooh. Ooh, look at the Queen. I mean, she is in it. And I love, look at the crown. And look at all those little yellow dots. It's like the ultimate connection, your crown being completely open in order to receive message from spirit. I feel like this really speaks to intuition. Right, we have the king looking calm. I love that he has a 5 o'clock shadow. So cool. All right. The swords is a number 2 pencil. Okay. We have our 2, no body, but shoes, hat, blindfold. And of course, little traditional moon. 3, 4, card of rest. Oh my goodness. Okay. So 5. So all the swords are here. And I think it's fascinating that it's an animal that has bested the humans. Look at this one with her hands on her hips. I don't know, do you see her? He's like, what the hell, man? Oh gosh. Okay. I like this. We have the helping figure and then 2. I mean, they're covered, so you can't even see. They just look like blobs. But we're going to say that these are the 2 people that are shifting sceneries, making that transition. This guy has like pirate vibes, but also like, you know, like that character from Aladdin. What was his name? Um, Jafar. So he looks like, making off with the swords. And we have the 8. I like that in these troubling cards, there's a lot more black and white. Same here, look. I don't even see the figure. Maybe they're hiding under the sheets. And the 10. It's pretty powerful. because this appears to be the outfit. I don't see the person. And the swords appear to be penetrating the spiral, like killing the growth, killing whatever it was that this character, this figure was trying to accomplish. Whatever thought has been extinguished. I like all this black scribble, like, when you write in your journal and then you go back and you hate something that you write and you take your pencil and you trying to get rid of it. That's what that reminds me of. All right. We have our funky page of swords. I love this symbol. I forget what that's called, but I love that little tattoo on his arm. He has two. He has this one and then this one over here. Those are cool. These thought bubbles, it's interesting, right? Because it looks like lined paper with no words on it just yet. You kind of get the idea that this is a starting point. And the queen, I like it when I don't always like it when they make the queen of swords look so cold and bitchy. This one seems more approachable. Oh, sorry, I didn't have those in order. Should be the queen, the knight first, and the queen. So here's the knight. Just all kinds of crazy on his horse slash giraffe. Look at those shoes. Oh, goodness. All right, and then we have the king. Oh, interesting that his thought bubble is the same. She doesn't have one. That's interesting. All right. So now we'll go to the coins. Have the ace, right? The seed, the beginning. What appears to be a tree, that's in black and white. So that's interesting. The two. Now think about how difficult this juggle would be, juggling from this point instead of up in the air where you could see better. The three, creation. I like how we have the three pentacles, right? Three stars. But then we have this peak here, and this peak here. Ooh, the Four of Pentacles, she's holding everything close, everything tight. This is a good five. This is a good five. Well, there's a lot of like tent imagery here. These figures aren't looking too good. There's a little window or opening here, but they've missed it because they're looking up at the sky. Oh, the card of give and take. But look at these two figures down here. I like that there's a scale because that gives a different interpretation too. Like, it's fine to want to help people, but they need to have to want to help themselves. It can't just be you doing everything for them. And these are just kind of laying there like, yeah, I'll take whatever you can give me. Oh, this is cool. No figure. Oh, I like this. This is a great interpretation. I like this a lot. And then we have the 8 represented as a seamstress. I like that because it's not easy to sew even stitches like that. Ooh, the 9, dressed to impress. Her pentacles have crystals. She's got her camera, her pocketbook. She's dressed to kill. Oh, I like this. 10. The pentacles in the tree. And then we have all these figures here, but this is clearly the Fool. That is clearly the Fool. How cool is that? I love this card. Right, then we have our page. The Knight at a complete standstill. I love what they've done with all the horses. Each horse is unique and has a different head. And then here we have the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, there's a lot of earth colors in this card. I wish there was a little bit more in this card of what you expect to see in the Queen. And sometimes this can be like I don't know, connected to the Empress somehow. But I don't really see any ties. Like at least here you do have like the wheat. I wish there I wish this had like more greenery or plants or even like the little rabbit. It's just this, which is a star but almost looks like a turtle. So yeah, that's the Queen. And then the final card is the King of Coins. No grapes, but a lot of purple in the card. Okay, interesting. I just want to take a quick look at the cards from this perspective because sometimes it's nice to compare them by numbers. So here we have all of the aces, and they're pretty traditional, I would say, except for this. I mean, this has the little entrance here. I guess the black and white tree, you can kind of see that as starting from ground zero and then the potential of what the seed will lead to. Here we have the 2s. I feel like these were really well done. I really liked all of the 2s. All the symbolism is there. It'd be fairly easy to read with these. Same with the 3s. All of the 3s are pretty traditional. A lot of black and white in this card, you know, to be expected. With this being the 3 of Swords, here you see the black and white in the mountains, meaning like you don't know what you're going to come up against once you start on this adventure. A little hint of it here in the cups and over here in the pentacles. It's interesting, I feel, the use of the black and white in these cards. Here we have the 4. I feel like these 2 here are my favorites. This is pretty standard, what you could expect. This one, makes me want to take a second look because the cup is being offered like you would expect. The figure is out there languishing under the tree, and then you have the three cups. Yeah, I guess it does make sense because the figure is staring at the three cups and doesn't notice that this cup is here. Also, there's a path here. This over here almost seems like water. It's almost like the tree and they're laying in the grass close to the water. Instead of looking at the scenery, they're looking at the way home. I don't know. I guess it could be read in different ways. Then we have the fives. I really, really love the fives, which is awesome because fives is usually a number of conflict, but I really love what they've done here with the fives. And look at here, the black and white replacing the sky. Same with this card. But it's interesting. I already kind of talked about here the spirals, um, which I love how that connects with this card. But in this card, the black and white is over the home. And it would be hard to do this, but I almost wish the cloud was over her head. That's what I almost do. I almost wish the cloud was over her head and not her home. Because usually you see um, they're facing the other way and their happy ending could potentially be on the other side of the water. There's in the traditional card, there's like a little bridge to get to the other side, but they're focused over here. So it's curious to me that they put the black and white cloud behind the card. Here we have the sixes. I like how all of these were represented. They all add a little something. I really like this. The sweetness of a moment. The innocence is what I get. Tea party. Here we have the sevens. I feel like they're all well done. They're all well done. The look on this image, the look on their face, it's like taking a moment to stop and ground yourself before you deal with this is almost how I see it. Like pausing to take a breath. Because you could see the air, the black and white in the background. It's like pausing to take a breath. And we have the eights. I really love all of these. And here we have our nine. Get the sense that he's kind of leaning on this rod here. This is soil. The black and white in the background indicates change or movement. And he appears to be ready for whatever it is. I really like how all the tens were drawn up. Even this one where I feel like, oh, she's making it look so easy. Even then, with all of this black and white in the background and the way that these loops are here on the ground gives it a little bit of something different. But I'd say these two are probably my favorites. This one's good too. I don't know, it's hard. So here we have the pages, and usually pages are shown as a younger energy. I don't really see that here, except that all the pages are standing still, is what I'll say. So maybe at the beginning of their journey. All the knights, all the knights are actionary figures. So they're each on a horse of some sort. Here we have our queens. I have to say, out of all the court cards, I feel like I love the queens the most. I feel like the biggest challenge that I have is with the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles left me wanting more. But I really like the other queens. I feel like they show their element. And then we have the kings. I love that they all have curious beards. The King of Rods with his chest hair. Oh my goodness. Overall, this is a very unique and quirky deck. The cardstock is really cool on this deck. It shuffles pretty well. And I really like the color associations. I like that you can pull in the chakras, but I also like what she's done with all of the colors and her what she calls her color wheel, which you can see represented in a bunch of the cards. It's literally at the top of almost every card there. You see it? Yeah. So I like this artist card, but I don't know like how I would look at that in a reading. And then we have our 3 cards here. Observer, Visionary, Inner Muse. The one that I feel I relate the most to would be Observer. Let's see if we shuffle and pull a card. That's funny. We have the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords. So let's see what the book has to say about this striking card. All right, so this card represents Venus in Aquarius. And the key words are emotional detachment, conquest, defeat, setting own rules of behavior, dishonor. So good. Okay. The yellow four-legged hybrid combines a dog or perhaps a cat's face and a giraffe's spots, a snake's sleekness, and cold-bloodedness. Bird toes with a kooky expression and very sharp teeth. This being has just grabbed the swords from the 3 people standing in the background near the water. The dark and dull colors portray a stormy and uncomfortable atmosphere. The people seem to protest but are unable to do much against the determination of the thief, coupled with the element of surprise. They had just played nicely with the dog only a day ago. The misbehaving creature may eventually leave behind 2 of the swords, as they could not hold all with their teeth. Certainly, those remnants are not a result of kindness or understanding. You know, I love that concept, right? Like when the dog or this creature, the hybrid as she calls it, when he runs off eventually, he has 3 in his mouth and he'll leave 2 behind. But not because he's trying to be Mr. Nice Guy, because if he could have, he would have taken them all with. I love that. So, so true. This is a card where love and beauty encounter coldness and detachment. Even the people in the card don't seem to support each other emotionally. Yeah, it's like all the 3 figures are doing their own thing in the background. Whereas if this was a different unit, all 3 may be, you know, perhaps consoling each other, hugging each other, helping each other out. I don't know. That's so true. I've never even thought about that. Someone might be acting with selfishness and lack of compassion or in an abusive manner, causing feelings of humiliation. At best, someone sets and follows his or her own rules of behavior without your concurrence or that of society at large. Well, that's very powerful. So you can see that reading the book is going to add a little element to each of the cards because there's always something that the artist plugs into the artwork that you may not pick up on right away. And sometimes you read the guidebook and you're like, that's not how I see the card. But other times you read it and you're like, oh, shoot, I totally missed that. So, very, very interesting. Overall, a very quirky deck, and I'm very much looking forward to jumping in and doing readings with it. Actually, it's called the Untitled one. And the keywords for this card are create your own change, authenticity, generate surprises, change through creative action, and change artist. In other words, someone who is skilled at coming in and doing things different, presenting different. I really like that. I like the keywords because you can't create something new but stay the person that you were. The birth of a new project literally changes who you are as a person. So this is interesting, very interesting. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so, so much for sitting with me as we take a closer look at this very interesting and creative deck. This is by Sakki-Sakki, and it is the I Am the Artist Tarot. See you next time. Bye.